I will dominate, and this is Thorin's channel. The guy who, if I keep on associating with him, will get me banned on Twitch eventually.
First things first, just finishing. It's a bit late, but I'm a bit ill today, so the only thing I'm going to do is my gamer subs for the day. So you can always purchase some of that, as the thing on the screen shows you, with the code Thorin, THORIN, at gamersubs.gg. I think at the moment they even have some sort of like a deal on, like some sort of a free shipping or something. I don't know, you'd have to look on that one. I can't remember the specific details I'm in at the moment. I would say always, whenever you order anything from the store, click on the free samples thing and add that in one time so you get to try out some other flavours. Then you'll know if they're good without actually having to even wait. Also, there is a way you could actually win some free gamer subs, which is if you check on my Discord, there will soon be, like every year we do like a pick'em challenge for League of Legends Worlds. Now look, you're going to have to pick a bunch of insane games correctly, but the winner, the top two prizes usually involve getting some free stuff from Gamersubs, because every year they've been a good sport and they've helped us in that sense. They provided the gifts, so shout out to them. Is the definition of the type of person in the esports industry who is fucking worthless. And the reason they're worthless is they are incapable of understanding they barely know anything about the scene. So they take the tiny thing they do know and they go, hey, I've got like a tiny bit of status and knowledge on this topic. And they go, actually, I'm just going to assume I know everything. And they start going around talking like there's some expert insider who knows everything about the industry. So if you don't know, this is actually just some fucking bonehead who worked as like a manager or some, there we go, socials manager for fucking Endpoint. Endpoint has never been a top team in any context ever in Counter-Strike. They're totally fucking irrelevant, and they're only known as an org that like some good people go to and then go to better teams, like the Mezzies of the world, the Flames, all the rest of those sorts of people. Like this guy, I mean, fair enough that he at least has the self-awareness to put that he is a CS Twitter reply guy, because he's just a fucking bozo. You've probably seen him on Reddit that just comments as if he knows everything about the industry. So this guy goes, in 2022, this is so fucking embarrassing when I explain the context to you guys. He goes, for anyone wondering why you're seeing a certain block-happy esports person on your feeds, he's referring to me, but get ready. Apparently, blocks on Twitter are broken now because they've fired most of the engineers and the infrastructure's collapsing. Right, so first of all, let's just go in reverse order. He's so fucking dumb / a normie dunce. He believed that story that when Elon Musk joined Twitter, now X.com, and fired all those freeloader worthless people who were just having meetings all day, that meant all the engineers are fired and that the whole site would just grind to a halt and none of us would be on it now. I guess one tweet after this, he probably mentioned his Threads account and fucked off over there, definitely never to return. Oh, what's that? We're all still on Twitter to this day. Like almost 2 years later at this point in time, the better part of 2 years later, we're all still on Twitter, and actually the infrastructure hasn't collapsed and it hasn't ground to a halt. And that's not in any way what's going on. Well, you ready for the next detail for how mentally ill this guy is what he really means is he's also noticed that I've unblocked his account and some others. Because if you don't know, I just unblocked almost everyone. It wasn't even something of like, I especially thought about this, but I just unblocked almost everyone. There's barely anyone is blocked by me. And if they are, they've got an extremely good reason that I won't be going into as to why they're blocked. So what really happened is, because he noticed he was unblocked, and then a bunch of other people on Twitter were going, hey, I'm unblocked by Thorin. What's going on? I thought I was blocked. Instead of going, well, I have no idea why that would be, he just pulled a completely nonsense reason out of his arse, which is because he goes, hey, I've seen that thing recently where people are saying like Twitter's going to like grind to a halt because Elon's fired all the programmers. And he just makes up completely the notion that Twitter blocks didn't work. By the way, that never ever was the case for my account. There was not a single day ever where it unblocked someone by accident or blocks just didn't work. As far as I know, that never was the case ever on Twitter during this time period. He just made it up completely or heard from another idiot and just repeated it like, oh, I'm just hearing any old chat repeating it. Blah, 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 blah. And so he just comes out, apparently tweets are they're broken. Blocks are broken. That's why he can see you. Was never ever the case. It's weird. What would working as a social media manager for Endpoint in any way contribute to your knowledge of like how or why I have someone blocked? It's almost like you're just a mentally ill loser. But then again, the good news is he gave away in his name, Tom94, that presumably he was born in 1994. So, I don't know, happy 30th birthday to this utter fucking cretin, I guess. Like, okay, brilliant, good one. Just make that up then. Just make it up completely. Here's another good one. Let's read this first and then see what he was replying to. So he goes, Thorin at it again with another nonsense tweet, hardly controlling his anger and autism. Oh, guys, this has got to be some crazy shit he's bitch slapping me down on now. Get ready. 3 most overrated mids in the tournament are all in one group. Wait a minute. Let me go back again. Let me try that on for size again. Imagine I'm reading a script, right? So, 3 most overrated mids in the tournament are all in one group. Thorin at it again with another nonsense tweet, hardly controlling his anger and autism. Yeah, what an arsehole I am, mate? I mean, by the way, if you don't know, what I'm talking about there is, at Worlds 2020s, that will be Season 10 Worlds, I pointed out that in one of the groups, it was the group that had Bjergsen's team in, all the most overrated mids were in that group, because you had, like, Bjergsen from TSM, you had BDD from Gen G, and then you had, who was the other one? Because I think Shia was the one I was saying wasn't, so there was, like, another team as well. Who even would the other team be? Let's look it up really quickly, shall we? Just for the sake. Oh, that's right. It's because Nemesis was there from Fnatic, right? So that's why. So if you don't know, the mid laners in this group was Shia from LGD, who actually I thought was good / slightly underrated. You had Bjergsen, who was mega over it. He went 0-6 by the way. You had Nemesis, who was always mega over it. He was just a good above average player. Then you had BDD, who actually, from next year onwards, I thought got really good, but at this point in time, actually was a little bit sus and still like a little bit kind of fragile for me international player. So to me, BDD, Bjergsen, and Nemesis are mega overrated mids. So as I said, the 3 most overrated mids in the tournament are all in one group. So then this guy just goes mental, didn't he? So cool, I guess. Cool and that, yeah, it's brilliant. It's good shit, I guess, right? Another good one. Let's get ready for this. Yeah, remember, no matter what I say, I'm always wrong. No matter how much you have to bend yourself into a pretzel to pretend that makes sense that I'm wrong. So let's look at this. This guy goes, Esports historian, comma. Now, why would there be a comma after that, bro? Like, why do people who don't know English and clearly don't read books or write essays, why do they just go, you know what, shit, I mean, I barely know how, like, grammar and punctuation works, so, like, just randomize it, I guess, on the off chance I get it right. So if you don't know what commas do, just leave them out, bro. Esports historian, comma, that didn't know about one of the most obvious bugs in the game that has been around for at least 5 years. Right, if you know the date, guys, 2020, do you remember a bug that came along in 2020? This will actually defy belief that he is going to pretend to me that everyone who was connected in CS not only knew about this bug, but that it's been known for at least 5 years and that it was an obvious bug. Are you ready? This is beautiful if you know history. It's about the actual bug that was used, that coach bug, where you could do things like boost and accidentally get activated as a coach and just be in a third person perspective looking like at a different point of the map, and you could just see like their spawn or a certain area, or you could remain in a death cam area. And basically that used to exist as one that people didn't know how to trigger, but then years later, around this time, about a year or so into 2020, 2019, that sort of period, then people figured out how you could actually manually, artificially trigger this bug, and it became so widespread, ESIC and Valve banned loads of people, and it became a massive issue that, yeah, people like Starix were going, there was a version of this bug around a long time ago, but that wasn't the same. The bug was different. And then it's only this year it all came up publicly. Before that, it was just the odd whisper privately, or people knew there was something going on, but no one knew how to replicate it, right? If you don't know, as an esports historian, I can tell you, this guy is insanely both dishonest and disingenuous. Like, there were loads of pro players, by the way, that were like, I wasn't even aware this bug was a thing. What the fuck? That's real? It works like that? Loads of them, even when the news came out, going, how does it work exactly? Can you show me an example? Like, there's no way my coach would have done that. We've never heard of this bug. Like, so as usual, just, if you can't make me be wrong with reality, just change reality and lie about reality, innit? So as an esports historian, how did I not know that this bug existed 5 years earlier? I mean, you just lied, haven't you? So it's the main reason. I've just realised now, sadly, and this is so fucking sad that I never set my alarm. Right, I can't actually keep doing this, guys. If I'm going to do streams, I have to actually have a set time where I'm finished. So I think logically I've been doing it about 45 minutes. So I'm going to put 20 minutes more on the clock. I think I might have done too much time on the other one, but it's all good. So we'll do 20 minutes more, then we'll do some Q&A. Here's a good one. Pretty ridiculous that 3 bad years hasn't convinced you Korea ain't great anymore. So here's a good one. I did a tweet Well, I said, this is just true, by the way, pretty ridiculous that Faker has more LCK titles than any player has LCS or LEC titles. Now, there's a bunch I can break down here. So first of all, the reason that's a banger tweet, and also, I thought Thorin hated Faker. No, just dunces like you, who think everything he ever did was the best thing ever, or incomparable to anyone else, because you don't know the history of esports or League of Legends. So what I'm pointing out there is, actually, Faker's career is so incredible that even in an easier to win region like LCS or LEC, nobody's won as many titles in those regions as Faker has in LCK. By the way, that might not actually be true now. Since this is in 2020, I would guess because Caps can in theory now win 4 titles a year and just won 7 out of the last 8, I'm going to go ahead and guess he has clearly more than 10 titles now. So he has more than Faker's 10 LCK, but that's also because they just changed the format, didn't they? The point was in 2020, it was bonkers that even if you wanted to look at someone like Burks or whatever, and double lift already at this point in time, I mean, this might actually be where he hadn't won the last LCS one. He would already have had something like 8 titles or 7 or 8 titles. So it is ridiculous. That shows how cracked Faker's career is. But because this guy's mentally ill, he thinks I'm complimenting Faker. So he's going pretty ridiculous. So they always start with the way I phrased it as like a shitty, oh yeah, you think that's ridiculous? It's pretty ridiculous. You're a dum-dum. Got him. So this guy goes, pretty ridiculous that 3 bad years hasn't convinced you Korea ain't great anymore. Ain't great anymore. Now, do you want to know the best part about this, guys? When he says 3 bad years, do you want to know what's funny? Look at the date on his tweet. The date on this tweet is the 18th of June, 2020. Now, if you're unaware, the winner of Worlds this very year is Damwon. They win Worlds in 2020. And if you go to the next year, even though EDG won Worlds the next year, you could actually make a very strong case that like 2 of the top 3 teams at the tournament were Damwon again, maybe CDG since they won the tournament, and then the third would probably actually have been T1, believe it or not. Then after that, you go to 2022. It's won by DRX against T1 in the final. Then you go to 2023, it's won by T1. So, like, what's hilarious is he's picked the only period in time, pretty much, where Korea looked like they weren't as good anymore and weren't like the dominant champions. And he's just in it completely. Like, by the way, it's a complete non sequitur as well. What's happened here is, because I've said in his brain, to a moron, here's what he does. To a moron, he's going, you are complimenting a Korean over an American or a European? Well, Korea ain't that great anymore. And the best part is, if he means that because he's triggered about me saying LEC, presumably he means because G2 was on top, remember? G2 had won MSI in 2019 and made Worlds Finals in 2019. And then obviously in 2020, they did what? They beat Gen G. Not the one with Chovy, obviously. And then they got mega giga slapped by Damwon in the semi. So just a shit tweet that, again, as usual, just wasted everyone's time. Doesn't have anything. No likes, no retweets, no fucking responses. Just a bunch of fucking bollocks. Next time you ever tweet something like that, it's an instant ban for life, mate. So please do it. We don't ever want to hear from you again. We don't ever want to hear from you. Let's look then at this guy's account to see how brilliant his account is. So, remember, great, really, really fun, great comments here. By the way, class of 2030. The idea you'd even put that in your own bio is embarrassing as fuck. I mean, what even is this? Well, ignore that. That's just some shit. Here's a good one. I've literally witnessed Brazilian CSGO fans who had travelled from Brazil, this is true, threaten CSGO on-camera talent with physical violence at an esports event in person. They think that's a funny joke. This guy goes, wait, is that not funny? Pussy homosexuals everywhere? Thankfully, this guy's giving me really great. Here's a good one. By the logic of morons, I see arguing against Jamppi being unbanned. Every crime should carry the death penalty because it would prevent crime. So if you don't know the case here, Jamppi is someone who, if he indeed himself cheated on his account, which got VAC banned, it was when he was 12 years old or something like that. And it was just like a one-off incident in no context in a competitive setting. So my point there is that if you're like, hey, if we want to stop cheating, we have to ban all cheaters. It's like, yeah, that's like giving any crime the death penalty then, because what we're doing there is we're not just banning him. I mean, he's been banned at this point in time, if you don't know, for something mental, like, I think like 8 years or something more. At that point in time, like, you would already have fulfilled the punishment of your crime if it wasn't the death penalty, right? You'd have already done your time in prison. Now you'd be able to play. So I'm pointing out, like, the idea he can never be unbanned is obviously a ridiculous punishment. So this moron goes, nothing moronic about perma-banning a cheater. So notice he already conflates the idea that anyone who ever used a cheat, and as far as we know, we have no proof Jamppi did. It might have been that a friend of his did, who he sold the account to, or there was some story like that. Then he goes, perma-banning a cheater. So he already makes it like cheater equals cheater equals cheater. No, I don't care about a random 12-year-old kid who cheats on a public server or on his own server. I don't care about that at all. I don't think that has any bearing whatsoever on competitive play or how people should be punished or what the legislation should be for people who actually cheat in the professional scene. But he's making it sound like a cheater when you're 12 on your own server, just loading it up to test cheats out, is the same as going into an actual like major match and doing what I actually allege Kaylee might have done, which is just turn on an actual fucking aimbot or something mental in a major match. Or maybe what people think Flusher might have done with some sort of like a fucking... I mean, it wouldn't have been a wall hack. It'd have been like a dot or something that like pulled towards them and gave you a sense. So already he's done the nonsense thing where he's ignored what I said. And then he goes, you wouldn't let a felon thief ever handle the money. Now, what's brilliant is he's immediately entered it by giving a real world example. Because his logic is that Jamppi is the equivalent of a felon thief now being asked to handle money. So what he's done is he's taken a felony of theft, a serious crime, and now he's made it that you wouldn't let him do something as simple as handle money. But it's the other way around, isn't it? Because in this analogy, this is like Jamppi may or may not, and well, this analogy, to make it work this way, it can't be that you can be 12. We'll say he's 8. When he was 8 years old, he might have stolen a 1 cent sweet out of the pick and mix at the shop. And by your logic, he should go to prison forever and never be paroled, because if he's paroled, he might just steal everything in the world. That's your analogy. You're a fucking dunce, aren't you? So you haven't even attempted to listen to what my point is or understand any of the nuance being made. So let's have a look at some more good ones. Are you ready? This is the level of mental... By the way, the same person before going on about Brazilians and pussy homosexuals everywhere. Get ready for this nonsense. Right, so tears on day, chocolate rain, a baby born today. You remember that shit? By the way, if people want to know a random detail, there's once a video, I can't even remember what the video's about, where on Richard's YouTube channel, the top comment is just tears on day, saying something like, yeah, they do be wildin' or something like, and it's like, what? And it's actually his real account if you go and click. But anyway, so this guy, tears on day, as if Overwatch League hadn't already jumped the shark. He's just going to be on... A guy who did a one-hit wonder on YouTube, not even like the charts. Like, at this point in time, like 10 years earlier, no one's fucking heard of him since then. Has he even done anything aside from Chocolate Rain? No one knows. He just gets to be on Overwatch League because that's how bad Overwatch League was. So I just said, in case you wondered if Overwatch League had jumped the shark, because the famous trope, jumping the shark, is from an episode of the much-loved classic TV show, Happy Days, where the cool character, Fonzie, jumps over a shark on some, like, fucking water skis, and the joke goes that that's the episode people cite, that after that, the show just was never as good and it sort of sold out and it was shit after that. So jumping the shark means, like, you know, like, you've already seen your best days, it's only going to get bad from here. So my point is, if you're having some fuck like that, the show's just jump the shark. To a moron, though, his logic is, Thorin's implying this isn't a great addition of someone whose skin isn't totally white, therefore he's racist. That's his actual angle. Not racist, by the way. So if you don't think Tears on Day was famous, or that Chocolate Rain was some brilliant cultural contribution, or that he's in any way relevant in 2020, and therefore by joining the Overwatch League, he's not bringing anything, you're just racist, innit? Got him! Got him. Here's some good ones. Just if you ever needed to know how dumb this guy is, this sentence will tell you alone. Here's a good one. I'm so smart, I know how to tweet without ever getting in trouble, because you know who I'm talking about, but do you know who I'm talking about? Let's see in the court of law. I put, gotta love that quality content gets downvoted on Reddit, but clips of an unfunny steroid abuser are constantly upvoted at a suspiciously high frequency. Pretty good point, innit? And then this guy goes, I've never said anything about Tyler 1, you'll notice. He goes, Tyler 1 does not use steroids. Well, if you say so, guy who's in love with him with a parasocial relationship, I guess that must be true. He was built the same in high school. You know how he was built in high school now. Spoiler, I know this is going to fucking rock your brain when you hear this. Do you know there's sports in high school? There's even sports like wrestling. And this might really absolutely bake your noodle. You could just start taking the steroids in high school. Listen, if you tell anyone, you could blow the whole thing wide open in sports. Because obviously, you're right. Everyone knows steroids can only be taken by 30-year-old men. Officially, when they go, I'm a sports star and I'll now just be injecting this giant syringe of steroid into my arm. Now I am. Look at the fucking pythons, but give me a fucking break. Why are they so fucking dumb, though? Why are they so dumb? We've got 10 more minutes of this to go. Well, I'll check a few more, but I don't know if I can bother going through this. This is a good one, though. Here's a good one. I don't accept the premise that FPX were better than G2, except on that day. I'm talking obviously about Season 9, aren't I? Because if you looked at how that year went, yeah, they were mega in China, but actually G2 looked like the best team in the world for the majority of the year, except that one day. They certainly seemed to play the more effective style, though. Again, how are these controversial statements? So this moron goes, G2 was also getting wrecked in scrims every day. They were never the best team. What relevance would that have to do with what I've just said? Right, I don't care what happens in scrims, mate. By your own logic, probably the best Western team ever got beaten in scrims. Right? But in the matches in the tournament, they did beat the teams that were beating them in scrims with them, like DAM1 and T1. So which is it? Are DAM1 and T1 better than G2 for winning scrims, which none of us saw? We've just heard interview comments. But then losing the official match or vice versa. Because all I'm going to say is, do you think a shithead fan would be as generous to me if I implied, yeah, who cares who won that official match? In scrims, they were dominating them. Do you think they would go, oh, it's a totally legit Python? Yeah. Actually, scrims do decide who the best is. They were never the best team there. He put there, by the way. Already, we know this person's mentally ill because I was talking about being the best in the world on any day except the Final Worlds. Whereas what he does is he goes, they were never the best there. So I was talking about they were the best the whole year. And his logic is, yeah, but at Worlds they weren't because of scrims, I heard. Who cares, mate? Who cares? No. So even though I explained that except for that day, G2 was better, what the fuck? G2 got bodied from start to finish on that day. So in what way does what you're saying counter what I'm saying, by the way? Here's some good ones. So when Elitist United privately was cancelled, Veteran, like a child, just came, I did a whole video on it, just came out, was like, oh, it's cancelled, and then leaked all the logs, right? Because he's a fucking dickhead. So I just put, arseholes will always confirm your suspicions when you cut them out. Thinking it's acceptable to publish a private conversation tells you all you need to know about this guy. Goodbye, Elitist United, and good riddance to this guy's behaviour. By the way, how's that worked out since? Who's still around? Who's relevant? Who's doing the big shows? Who still has opinions people care about? Just saying, innit? Shout out to 4 Nuggets for subscribing for 6 months. Then this mentally ill guy comes in. Are you ready? So we can only assume now he must be in love with Veteran too. Okay, cool. Tell you what, he's a fucking Casanova, this guy, isn't he? He goes, Thorin is definitely a racist. Right, okay, brilliant. So let's look at what he's replying to here. Let's see how I become racist apropos of this tweet. He goes, Thorin is definitely a racist. He literally defended the crazy Indian paedophile that said the N-word and threatened man's family and threatened to burn a certain type of people and directed all his outrage over Echo Fox at fucking Rick Fox. None of those things happened. You're a really mentally ill person that needs probably some sort of money from the government to pay for people to care for you. Because I actually think even giving you like a little kid's really blunt knife could lead to you not being able to see in the future. So I'm actually quite concerned for you at this point in time, mate. So if we just go up here, do you want to know the real thing this guy is wigging out about? is that I pointed out that just because someone in your company's internal communication system said like a racist word doesn't mean you just get to like kick them out of the team. That's not how it works. You have to go through a whole legal process of divesting and buying them out. And it's not as simple as like, oh, you said a naughty thing, so all the laws in the land don't apply and we can just take all your shares. And I kept pointing out over and over again, that's not how this works, guys. Like the way it works in businesses is all the like legal procedures we're going to have to go through. There's probably going to have to be a court case about this. Riot themselves need to investigate. But in his mind, because I didn't just go, yeah, the guy who said the N-word, whatever he did, everything bad should happen to him, and there's no possible legal context to any of this. Because he's mentally ill, that's the same as me, by his words, literally defended. Now, I never literally defended him at all, did I? Also, it's fucking mental to ever write crazy Indian paedophile. By the way, this is the person who says when I just say Taze on Day being on Overwatch League isn't cool, that makes me racist. But by his logic, he went out of his way to say that he's a crazy Indian paedophile. How's that not racist by your logic? It isn't, by the way. But you're so mentally ill, you decide, like, you just threw Indian in there for some extra reason, didn't you, mate? You just wanted some, like, bonus. But the Indian paedophile, mate, if they're a paedophile, they're a paedophile. But what's the Indian angle? Then he goes, and threatened man's family. Like, as though I ever defended someone threatening someone's family. But his logic also, because he's so unwell, is that because someone called Rick Fox the N-word, Rick Fox could never be wrong, incompetent, or do something fucked up in his own company. He could never have any fault because someone said a magical word. That's the logic of this dumb fuck. The joke being, Rick Fox even likes me, you dumb fuck. He even tweeted one time something like, Thorin has Steph Curry range or something mad like that. Let's see how I'm wrong every single time I tweet, shall we? We'll probably just do this guy last and I'll do the Q&A. So you ready? Let's see. What we'll do again, we'll play the game with this guy because it's all mental illness non sequiturs. We'll start with his thing, then see what I said. So you ready? I put, yeah, it's my fault the police give me anxiety because I chose to watch them kill/maim people that look like me and never go to jail. Right, let's see what fucking tweet I could have done that would ever be anything that would make sense to tweet to me. So I put here, you choose what programming your brain receives. Continue allowing others to pump you full of fear and anxiety if you wish to live in a fearful and anxious state. If you don't, though, then reclaim your responsibility for what you consume. Right, so I've just made a very valid point there about learning what external triggers and information and stimuli cause you to feel anxious or afraid, and learning that there's times where you can actually just cut that off at the supply and it's not a naturally occurring thing. You won't feel that way. So because I've given some very shrewd and practical advice, this guy's going to just do the mentally ill thing of being like, oh, so you think I should put beans in the recipe? Well, what about people like me that die if we put beans in? You just want us all to die, do you? And genocide us all so you can have delicious beans, you fucking selfish prick. He's just doing that mentally ill internet thing. So get ready. He goes, yes, it's my fault the police give me anxiety, right? So when I say, careful what programming you're taking in if you get a lot of fear and anxiety. Oh, so because of the programming, that means the police didn't arrest me and destroy me on a public sidewalk at curb stop my head. Like, I think you're just really unwell, mate. And ready, the best part here is this, right? So he even admits he chooses to watch the police, right? This part's so mental. It's so mental, right? Already, I don't believe in this. So we're supposed to believe that in America somewhere, the internet, TV, wherever, they just broadcast constant videos of the police killing people that look like him and never going to jail. Are we still just pretending that's a thing, by the way? Are we still just pretending people who've never committed a crime just walk like, la, la, la. The police just rock up. This is all on camera in America. Old school Tommy gun, like fucking Bugsy Malone or something. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. They do all that, and then you just go, does the foreman have the verdict? Well, sir, the verdict is you're in America, so none of you, you're all free to go. You're all free to go. All free to go. It's just nonsense, isn't it? It's fucking bollocks. They've all got police body cams on. Yeah, there's loads of corruption in all fucking military and police-based systems around the world. But, like, this is just absolute fucking bollocks. And what does that have to do with my tweet? My tweet's basically like, hey, here's about thing about life. And this guy like, yeah, but what about my very specific mental illness only I care about? It's like, well, I think we solved that. It's just you, mate. It's just you. It's just you, innit? It's just you. Get ready. Here's a good one. So you ready? Let's see how I'm wrong again. Right, let's play the game again. It's like Jeopardy. We're going to start with what he says, and then we're going to go backwards to what I say and see every time how mental it is. So he goes, how you spin Jordan only getting to the finals 6 times, then beating players like Jeff Hornacek. So he didn't even complete the thought there because he's so stupid, his brain just went, yeah, that's it. You're done there. You can just hit send on that. Look, no one ever, we have no feedback loop here. We can never improve. No one ever likes, retweets, or fucking comments on our shit anyway. So just put our nonsense into the world and then just go to bed in it. So when it said here, when LeBron lost, he did it against stronger opposition than anyone else. So my point was, that's one way to spin playing in the worst conference for almost your entire career. If you don't know, by evaluation of where the champions came from and where the best teams were, almost all of LeBron James's career, when he was in the East was the weakest conference. So I'm pointing out that they're going, he played against stronger opposition. Well, you didn't know. You played in the weakest conference your whole career. So this moron, nothing was mentioned about Michael Jordan, you'll notice in this comment. Not in the original post, not in my post. So he just goes, how are you going to spin Jordan only getting to the final 6 times and beating players like Jeff Hornacek? It's like, I didn't. I didn't. I was talking about LeBron James's career. That's why I just said about spinning that. But what happened is, remember, he did the dunce move where he took what I said first. He goes, oh, he's spinning, isn't he? He's spinning. Well, you know what? Tell you what, I'll start spinning too. Oh, yeah? Spinning, are you? Why are you spinning Jordan, though, eh? Why is he spinning Jordans, eh? You're spinning. You think I'm spinning, sir? No. I put it to you that you are the spinner, sir. Fucking hell, like, mate. I think I know why LeBron is so fucking overrated when dickheads like you were his fan, by the way. Get ready. I can't even believe this guy's using the word dichotomy. This is going to get amazing already. Get ready. I can't take it. So it goes, ready, we're going to read his tweet first, then mine. So get ready. It's going, false dichotomy? There's no way he even knows what that word means. There's no way. There's no way. He goes, false dichotomy? Clearly he's never had to vote in a US election, right? What do you reckon, guys? Place bets now. Do you think anything I said, even related to like a US election? Let's just see, shall we? Let's just see. Are you ready? The lesser of two... Oh, I already know where I'm going. I can give you a little rant for this one, guys. Get ready. I go... The lesser of two evils argument is not only a terrible reason to do anything, abstaining from all forms of evil is essential to a moral life. But in every case I've ever seen presented, it was also a false dichotomy, right? He's so fucking stupid. He's doing the equivalent of like on a past episode. You know, I showed you there was a guy who actually tried to claim the fallacy guilt by association, but thought it was an actual like precedent and a term, like a technique, like, oh, well, he's guilty because he's associated. It's like, no, bro, you're saying the fallacy, but like you're saying it as though it's a good thing. He's doing the same thing. Like, first of all, he's actually trying to claim, because he's so fucking stupid, that every US election is a lesser of two evils argument and that is fine and makes sense. Which is exactly what my comment says is not the case. I'm pointing out there is no such thing as lesser of two evils. There's just a question, do you support evil or not? There's no like, well, yeah, but I don't support the one that's quite as evil as the other. No, you then you support evil, sir. You support things you admit yourself you think are wrong morally in this case. So this dunce, I point out that's a false dichotomy to suggest you have to pick between two. His logic is, you think that's false, but you do have to pick in every US election. Like, what about the other guys? Way worse. It's like you weren't listening to anything I just told you. You just ignored the whole thing. The whole thing, bro. We'll finish on this guy. I'll get to the other ones later. Let's see how every single one I do wrong. Not in the finals, he don't. Clown. Get ready. So I said, Reggie Miller is so absurdly overrated. Yeah, they would give him more threes if he played now, and thus he'd get more points. But are people legit unaware he didn't have handles and couldn't create his own shot? There's a reason they had to run him off screens non-stop. Steph Curry shoots god tier percentage, fully guarded, and at max volume. And then he goes, not in the finals, he don't. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Oh. Right, so Steph Curry in the finals doesn't shoot, because by the way, this guy's just a LeBron fan, so he's just going to do this thing that all LeBron fans do, which is, are you ready? Which is in 2015, when Steph Curry looked a bit sus in that finals they won, where LeBron's help was all injured, they pretend he did that in every finals. Now, he didn't at all, by the way. He didn't at all. Like, that's not a case at all. I mean, by the way, he's even a finals MVP, if people don't know, but obviously that was after this tweet here. But if you ever go and look, it's just not even true. Like, what he's just said is actually not even true. Because what this guy doesn't understand, basically, is very simple to explain, which is, it's actually a massive concept that's misunderstood by sports fans, which is, you do know almost every player is worse the more important the game and the harder the opposition. I mean, it's quite an obvious concept, isn't it? And so in the finals, even some of the greatest players of all time just don't play as well and play a little bit more nervous, right? So if you go and look, here's the first final that Steph Curry played in, right? Right, first of all, you had the most win shares. We'll just put that out there. So if you go down, this is obviously the one where he actually had a little bit of trouble in some of the games closing it out, didn't he? Now, if you go and look, though, his field goal percentage is very good. And his three-point shooting, look, it's not his normal number, but that's way above league average, by the way. So he shot above average from three in this finals. And this is probably the one he played the worst in, by the way. This is the reason why he didn't get to win finals MVP and they gave it to Iguodala instead. So that's the first one, which, by the way, is above average playing. Then we'll go to the next one, which is the one they lost. It's the one where Draymond got suspended for that game and then had a godlike game 7 and then a bunch of the Warriors play. Now, what's funny is, by the way, there were definitely moments where Steph Curry played whack in these finals, but this guy just outright lied about his shooting percentages. So let's look at his shooting percentage. For the whole finals, he averaged 40% from three. If you don't know, that's bonkers. Like, I would wonder, bearing in mind he shot 83 pointers. No one will have ever come close to that, I would imagine, for 83 pointers with 40%. That's incredible. So already that is godlike, by the way. And he lost this finals. But because this guy's a LeBron fan, he doesn't know ball. So then we'll go to the next year, which is when Durant joined and they won. Now, having Kevin Durant doesn't make your three-pointers go in, by the way. So let's go and look. Oh, what's that again? Totally fine field goals, and you're on 38% again. So again, not the best ever, but one of the best ever, certainly. And also, good volume. This time you have 49. Then let's go to the year after that. Another one you won. This was with Kevin Durant again. After this, by the way, we'll do the Q&A. I didn't even need to look these up, but I just knew I could. So we'll go to here. He shot 41% from three. In the final, against one of the best teams in the NBA, by the way. This was even when people still used to lie and say LeBron was still good at defense. He wasn't, but okay. 41% is fucking godlike, by the way. And how many did he shoot? 53 three-pointers. Do you have any idea how bonkers that is? Then we'll look at this one. Remember, he lost the 2019 one because obviously you had Durant and fucking... what's his name? Clay both got injured as the finals went on. I mean, Durant was already injured, but he just couldn't play more than like half a game or whatever the fuck it was. So you go to here. Steph Curry, his worst one ever. And his worst one ever was 34%. Let's have a look. Average 3-point percent. Playoffs, 2019 maybe. Let me just have a look here. Like, how do I find out what the average was for that? If you just look over the years, apparently from 2019 to 2024, so the last 3 to 4 years, the average three-point percentage in the playoffs is 33%. So in the finals, Steph Curry still shot over a league average. In the finals, he lost. And by the way, this was actually arguably his worst finals by that logic. And then he had one more finals. Obviously, this one took place after this guy's tweet. So to be fair, you couldn't expect to know this one. But spoiler, he's going to have insane stats in this one, isn't he? So in this one, he has just the 43% in the finals with 71 three-pointers. It's almost like you don't know what you're talking about, bro. You don't know CS. You don't know esports. You don't know ball. You don't know fucking anything, do you? You don't know anything. Well, reasonable. Here's a good one. This guy now is going to do what I think is one of the most mental things anyone does in esports, which is they themselves go, oh yeah? You're pointing out something I agree is really fucked up in the world. Well, that's not a good thing because you haven't pointed out every other thing I think is fucked up, which you might not care about. And so actually, before anyone thinks you've done a good thing, calling out the thing I agree is a bad thing and should be called out, you're actually a subhuman piece of shit for not calling out all the things I say you should. And in fact, you should never even get any credit. In fact, you shouldn't have called out what I want you to call it in the first place because you didn't call out the other things. So get ready for the stupidest version of whataboutism. I put, once you take NA out of the question, major German cities are hands down the best locations for CSGO events. No amount of fancy dinners for casters in countries committing human rights violations will change my mind on that. Because basically, casters used to always rave about, like, oh my God, this country's awesome, they're treating us great. And that just meant some rich guy who organised the tournament or was like a liaison for talent just took you for a banger fucking dinner and got you a filet mignon, you twat, and then picked up the bill. Whereas my point is, I care more about like the event location. Like, why not have a cool place like Munich, Berlin, Cologne? These are banger places for a Counter-Strike tournament. You can have a really dope venue, proper Counter-Strike fans. The food itself isn't even terrible. I'm not even a big fan of German food, but it's not bad, is it? So this moron, again, apropos of nothing I've just tweeted, goes, so I've just tweeted about fucking where you host majors. He goes, have you ever heard of Uyghurs, Falun Gong practitioners, Chinese concubines, / arranged marriages, / child slaves, / sweatshops, / false imprisonment? Or does it take, get ready for a complete non sequitur, or does it take brown skinned nations to bring out the activist in you? Right. So are you ready for the new mental angle? Is that even though I'm not in this tweeting at all about Saudi Arabia, anyone like that, his logic goes that because I'm tweeting about where I want them to have a CS event in Germany, that I only complain about brown-skinned nations because it's racism again, innit? It's just racism. Just racism, innit? Even though it also implies I'm carrying water for the Chinese government. So then this guy makes a mistake of thinking he's talking to a human. He goes, what? He is saying that Germany and NA are the best locations for esports events. That excludes China, if you didn't notice. As last time I checked, China isn't Germany or NA. This mentally ill guy goes, no, he keeps tweeting outrage about esports events in Saudi Arabia and cites human rights when China exists, just exists, by the way. And he never said shit about it because, you know, it doesn't actually fucking matter to him. Right? I'll just, again, it's one of those rare times where I'll simultaneously give the answer but also ask you. So I'll ask you first of all. Do you, someone who's followed my work for a long time, think I've gone out of my way to never reference fucked up things China has done or the context of Chinese esports, or maybe that the West is a little bit too in bed with China? I would just go ahead and say I've done that fucking loads, and only people like Richard Lewis have done it more. It's even one of the reasons I often tell you I don't want to and don't plan to ever attend an event in China again. It's actually one of those places I decided after going there in like, I think 2019 or something, the last time I went, like, actually I don't think I'm going to come here again. And actually, you know what, there is like a darkness lurking behind this, and you know what, maybe it is cool that I just go and do events in other countries and don't come here and give off the notion that because I'm having a great time in a mega 5-star hotel that actually this country hasn't got problems. So as usual, people who are mentally ill will just make it up. Like, spoiler, yeah, I'm not tweeting anything about China there, am I? Because I'm not tweeting about China in any context. I'm tweeting about China a million times, and I've called out Riot and Tencent and all their involvement with them a billion times over. But yeah, never mind that. I mean, I've already called out all the Chinese match fixing that you'll get killed by the triads for. But no. What actually happened is I just tweet out outrage about this. Notice he doesn't say that's wrong, but he just says that I never ever said anything about China. So, sort of a mentally ill guy, isn't he? This is a good one. So because I had the audacity to retweet this great quote by Morgan Freeman, where he goes, how do we stop racism? Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. Now, what's funny is, unfortunately, Morgan Freeman is a little bit naive, like a lot of us were who lived through the 90s and early 2000s. We actually thought this was the world we could live in, where if we just stopped going on about the topic, then everyone could just get on with the reality of day-to-day life now and the problems that exist now, and not constantly keep referencing like blood libels and past grievances of people who actually aren't even alive now and maybe don't even have any descendant who's being blamed for that now. So instead, what he's sort of making the point of is ignore the things that were bad in the past in the sense of prioritizing what is presently available now. So instead of making it about a grievance from the past, why not actually try and make a positive situation now? It's actually quite a shrewd sort of point. It's just it'll never be picked up. So a dickhead like this guy goes, lol, at trying to share the blame of racism in the US. Because when you're an American, you're also so fucking stupid. You think racism was invented by white people in America, like recently or something, because you're a fucking dunce who has an ahistorical understanding of the reality. How many more of these is there? Oh, it stops in 2019, so fair enough. Fair enough. Right, let's have a look here. There's got to be some more stupid ones, and then we'll just kick it after that, shall we? Let's have a look here. Would you pump sewage into your living room? Why read replies and comments from the scum of the online world every day then? Because you could be posting erroneous sophistry and the replies could help you see the truth. Yeah, that's right, guy, on the last day of 2019, literally like lunchtime of the fucking last day, New Year's Eve, you're just out there, yeah, but the thing is, maybe all of your opinions are erroneous sophistry and I am Morpheus breaking you out of the Matrix to help you see the truth. I can only offer you a choice, Thorin. You can either take the red pill, in which case, you see how deep the rabbit hole goes of your erroneous sophistry, and I help you see the truth about nature of reality and racism in the US. Or you take the blue pill, you wake up in your bed tomorrow, you say nothing about China, the Uyghurs, forced marriages, whatever false imprisonment, Falun Gong practice, whatever that shit was about. Who gives a fuck? I love it. I actually love it. It's a good one. I fan logic here. I go, I love the people who play in gold and plat and attempt to analyse pro-level play by using only the champions' names and talking like, see, this is where Champion X will always beat Champion Y. Sit the fuck down, boy. He goes, there are people smarter about the game than pros in silver. You know that, right? I can't even do it, bro. I can't even do it. I can't do it. I can't. Right, you know what? If you want to take this point really abstractly, yeah, there's people like Monty who wouldn't be close to Challenger, who might know more about League than pros. But Monty wouldn't be in Silver either. Right, I'm going to tell you right now, there are absolutely no people in Silver that know more about League of Legends than pros. I'm just going to put that out there. By the way, I haven't even been in Silver. Like that, I would be above that level. So that is an absolutely mental statement. And are you ready for the best part, guys? It actually infers, if you think about how he tweets, that he's in Silver. That after all those tweets, he's actually in Silver and he's tweeting this. And he thinks he's a secret expert who's shutting down my erroneous sophistry to show me the truth of the world and how deep the rabbit hole goes. Imagine this cunt. Darren, welcome to the desert of the real. This is just a wood level on League. Yes. It's a barren wasteland where only geniuses like I understand the game and my macro movements. Rotate. Oh, he died. He died again. Oh, I've bad ulted into the pit of death. I've died. Rotate. Why are they like this, though? Why are they like this, bro? Why are they like this? Oh, let me guess. Do white people suck as usual? Is it Nassim Nicholas Taleb quote where it is racist to penalise someone from race A saying something about someone from race B, but not someone from race B saying something about someone from race A. It is worse than racist. It breaks social symmetry. The same applies to gender. What a great comment. He goes, what the fuck does saying something even mean here? It's because he knows. No. You know what he obviously means saying something racist, doesn't he? He means saying something derogatory. But this guy just, what does that even mean? What do words even mean? So he goes, whites want to be oppressed so bad. Do you want to know the best part about this, guys? He's taking that, bloody whites just want to be oppressed, don't you? Again, nobody said anything about being white, right? But I'm just going to show you what's actually the funniest part about this. You're going to love this, by the way. Just get ready for this. Just get ready. The reason this is mental is because I'm just going to show you this. Like, this is who he's talking about. Bloody whites just want to be oppressed at all costs. He's a Lebanese American, if you don't know. And goes on and on and on about Mediterranean, the Levant, all that shit. But yeah, just because someone said an opinion you don't like, fuck, I bet he's white. Bloody whites. How dare you talk about oppression? By your logic, why wouldn't he be allowed to? Oh, is he not allowed to have an opinion that differs from you? Or he must be white. White, papa. Give me a fucking break. Mentally ill. Is there even any more here? Oh, there's a few more. We'll do a few more. After this guy, I've already decided. After this guy, I'll do the fucking Q&A. And then we will end the show. Because I have gone too long as usual. So let's see what it says. Should I do more league talk shows? Only if you care about 7-year fans. Right. I'm actually lost for once, guys. I can't tell if he's actually, in theory... Because think about it, if this is 2019, he could actually, in theory, be a fan of mine from 7 years back. And what he means is, if you care about your fans from 7 years ago, do more shows, please. Or is he so mentally ill? His logic is like, you should only do talk shows if you care about 7-year-olds. Get ready, guys, because only 7-year-olds would like your show. Got him. He thinks he's got me there, and he's actually done me. You know what? He wins that one. He just wins that one. He's done me. He's actually done me, honey. Let's get ready. Here's a good one. This guy just claims this thing here, right? Like this whole fucking story. And then and then the sun and the stars all stood up and clapped because obviously it just sounds like a nonsense story. And he goes, there's a video of him saying this. It's like, who cares? Who gives a fuck, mate? Who actually cares, bro? Who actually cares? Here's a good one. We'll let him figure this on. Esports isn't a big enough scam to get him interested properly. Is global warming a scam too, bro? This guy believes everything. He believes every single thing his TV tells him, mate. Get ready. This is going to be a good one. Right. So are you ready? This is a really serious journalistic point. I know Kotaku hacks aren't known for having a strong grasp on the facts, but this one takes the biscuit. Will we ever know the mystery? Listen, will we ever know the mystery of why this piece wasn't relevant to the 2019 awards held in November? Because this character complained about not being included. Look, on the 18th of September, she said, top lol from me, not to be crass, but I wrote an expose on sexism at Riot Games. Oh, okay. So she's implying why wasn't she nominated as Journalist of the Year when she wrote an expose on sexism at Riot Games? For the 2019 awards. Right, that was published in July, because this is the moron American way of doing dates, in July of 2018. So the only year that would have been applicable for, are you ready, guys? It's 2018. So since we're in 2019, this never would have been applicable. So this person is just an idiot. Cecilia Anastasio is just a fucking cretin, talking out of her arse, not even know what she's fucking talking about. Brilliant. I think I've nailed her there, just factually. Not sure if I'm reading it wrong, says a moron, but my interpretation is that still not on the radar goes back to last year's nominees. No, that's not how it works, mate. That's not how it works. The way you would do that is you would say, I wrote an expose like this, and then you would show that year's Journalist of the Year awards. That it wouldn't make any sense to say, hey, why am I not on here when I've written this article that isn't applicable to this year? It's like, well, the answer's just in your own statement there, dumb fuck. So... as usual, though, a weirdo on the internet has to defend any woman who ever said anything. Or more of a general thing, I don't think it means specifically did these things this last year. Then this moron just goes, exactly. Thorin, a fool for this, right? I'm a fool. For her saying a totally incorrect, totally disingenuous framing, I'm a fool for pointing out factually she doesn't know what she's talking about. Cool. Belichick might be the greatest coach of all time in any sport, but it's bullshit. He's been allowed to cheat this many times. Did he just cheat again? Have you ever wondered, by the way, who do these people think they're having a convo with? Like, you message me hundreds of times, I'm never replying to you. No one's replying to you. There's no likes, there's no retweet, nothing. Do you really just sit there in like a broom closet, just like, that's going out, that's going out, that's going out, and then you just sit there like waiting for the tweet deck, like, no replies. That's going out. That's going out. What do you do when they never get a reply? Just keep going. Here's some mental illness. Get ready. Oh, this guy. Notice how he's never ever managed to actually find a tweet where I defended that guy. He's still just saying I defended the guy who said the racist thing. Do you know the basic facts? Rick Fox is black. Amit called black man N-word. Amit threatened his family. Amit told this group they were burning. And you're still defending him, get ready, with the straw man that everyone has it twisted except you. Weird how I didn't do that ever, innit? It's weird how that works, innit? Because if you don't know, by the way, it wasn't just that slur. That wasn't the real reason that was all going on. But as usual, this lunatic didn't know anything. So everyone needs a support network. And mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Hadjou, Mac Pugnatio Rajcula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Toucan, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel. Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thorin interviews are. Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.